Welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I'm Daniel.
I am Chris.
We're two of the world's leading authorities on Star Wars.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I think it's true, and if you dispute it, well, then you're an asshole.
I mean, I'd say we're in like the top quarter or so of Star Wars.
We're in the top 5 Star Wars nerds of all time. That's a meta joke for our stream fam because there's.
Right.
They haven't told you about that. Yeah. No one will understand that unless you watch our streams, which you should do because we have one coming up here in about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna play some Battlefront 2, and I think we're John and I were talking about a topic on the way to. We went to Menards today because that's what you do when you buy a house. Mm-hmm. You are constantly at a hardware store.
Makes sense. Yeah.
About our favorite movies and how, like, for me, it's so complex that I have like favorite movies that aren't Star Wars and then favorite movies that aren't Marvel movies.
Okay.
Because those are kind of their own two nebulous. Yeah. Like for me, Star Wars is kind of like, I don't know, whatever level that is.
The gospel.
Yeah. And like Marvel isn't quite up there, but it's,
It's pretty neat.
And then everything else that kind of like falls into like other movies too.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to go during the stream today and talk about our complex groupings of favorite films. So make sure you join us at 7 for that. And then also thank you to our friend Connor, one guy over at the Star Wars Hub, who is a great supporter of ours, a good friend, and does a lot of cool shit over there.
Runs a good page.
Yeah. The thing I love about it so much is that he has a religion, it would seem, against clickbait and against Mike Zero.
Excellent. Like, those are things that we can agree with.
It's all I'm saying is that if you want me to suck your dick, say you don't like Mike Zero, I'll do it. I'm kidding. It also costs you $5.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah. So thanks to Connor. He also runs a page called Star Wars Veritas, a page where I have godlike powers because he made me a mod and I can just smash people out of existence.
Just smite them.
Yeah, which I do. And then Star Wars fans worldwide and United. United is in there somewhere. I know it is.
I'm not sure they are.
I asked him if we could run our stream on their page. He said yes, and I haven't heard a single thing from him since. So
he must be happy with it.
Yeah. I don't even know what the guy's name is.
Oh well.
It's a cool page.
Yeah.
Like they got a lot of followers over there, and from what I can tell, unlike other Star Wars, a lot of like other Star Wars pages on Facebook
or the internet in general.
Well, particularly on Facebook, there are clickbait farm Facebook pages that all like go back to like we've got this covered.
Absolutely.
They have like this whole like network. It's like the Russian fake news network, like that, like how they have like different like shell like pages and shit.
Bot farms, yeah.
It's a lot like that, and really all they do is they spread bullshit about Kathleen Kennedy.
She's
and
getting fired any day now, dude.
Right. It's
like any day now. Yeah. Her head's gonna be on a pike outside of Disney World.
See, one of these days, just by the like, the merit of time, it will be true.
Well, she will retire more likely than be fired, but at some point she will
they'll
retire.
Just spin that then as they're covering it up as a retirement, but she actually got fired.
And the worst people on the internet will be screaming, "Oh, she's finally fired! Ding dong, the Wicked Witch is dead." Yeah, it's kind of like how every United States president who serves 2 terms, like before the next election of the new guy, everyone's like, "Yeah, we're kicking him out of office." And it's like, no, he's leaving voluntarily.
Yeah, it's well, not voluntarily, but like
because he has to.
Yeah, so
legally.
I remember they did the same thing, like when George W. Bush was on his last term, and when Barack Obama was on his last term, and everything. They're like, "Yeah, we're kicking you out." It's like, no, this is just how things work.
Yeah,
you had nothing to do with this. You're insignificant to the plight of this country. We are likely insignificant to the plight of Kathleen Kennedy and her perceived, probably fictional war with Disney. So, thanks for joining us. If you're here for the first time, this is our little live show. We do it once a week, mostly every Wednesday, and sometimes like next week will be a Thursday.
Yep.
Where we talk about Star Wars news and Marvel news and things that we appreciate. Mostly Star Wars, but also like nerd adjacent shit because we're nerds.
We like to be well-rounded nerds.
Yeah, I'm also noticing you're wearing a Captain America shirt. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
I chose it for a very particular reason.
Well, it's not Captain Carter. Which we'll get to, by the way.
Yeah.
We are talking today about the first episode of Marvel What If today. That'll be a little bit later. First, let's talk about some Star Wars news. Okay. What do you got?
So, Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh, what's up, Joseph, by the way?
Oh, hi, Joseph. So, Giancarlo Esposito was at GalaxyCon Rally, which is something that's happening, I guess, despite the fact that we're still in the middle of a fucking pandemic. Get vaccinated, by the way.
Yeah. The whole thing is crazy, by the way, and I was vaccinated, so were you, so John, so like I don't have much to worry about, but we're seeing like frightening number of cases and shit. So
I believe like the case numbers are worse than they were like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, and a year and a half ago it was really bad.
It was really fucking bad.
So
anyway, Giancarlo Esposito was at this convention and he started talking about the Mandalorian, as you do. Had some interesting things to say.
Okay.
Among them, number one, they just finished shooting Boba Fett and soon will start on season 3, unquote. So that tells us,
Boba Fett. I want that show so bad.
Book of Boba Fett is presumably in post-production where they're doing editing and stitching things together and special effects and all that.
I'm not surprised that they got that. They seem to be running a really efficient ship with with their live action shows so far that we've
starting
seen.
In December, right?
Yeah, because they have like one set. It's that like TV screen set. Yeah. It's I can't remember what they call it. It's like some like cool name and shit. But
which has to hugely cut down on production time and cost.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that when you see some of the effects in Star Wars. In the Star Wars live, like in the couple of Mandalorian shows and stuff, that they have been really good. Yeah. Because they can take money that they would have spent on other stuff, and like the Crate Dragon in season 2. Oh, yeah. That CG was really cool. Mm-hmm. Like it was very, very good.
Let's see, what else do you say? So thing number 2 is Pedro Pascal, the titular Mandalorian.
I love him.
He's currently in Canada, shooting The Last of Us for HBO.
Oh, because he's playing Joel, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I've never played those games. I've only watched gameplay because it's a PlayStation exclusive, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't. I got a used PS4 for my birthday, but I haven't bought any of them for the. I probably should because it looks like a lot of fun. But the idea, by the way, is a sidebar of Pedro Pascal playing Joel from that game is really cool. Yeah. I love that idea.
Sure, he'll do a great job.
He's got that like big face for it. So whatever that means.
Regarding this, Giancarlo Esposito said, quote, "We never have to wait on Pedro," end quote. Because Mando wears a helmet, presumably
they have a stunt double.
Yeah, just have anybody in the suit.
Right.
Which on the one hand, okay, I get it. It lets them be really efficient in shooting.
Yeah.
On the other hand, like Pedro Pascal is really fucking good at acting with his body, which you need to play Mando.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit concerned about not having him in the armor and having just someone else. On the other hand, it's Disney. They have more money than God. I'm sure they can find someone who can do the job as well.
Up until now, 3 people play the Mandalorian.
Oh. See, I didn't
it's
know that.
Pedro Pascal and 2 stunt doubles.
Okay.
They obviously use Pedro Pascal for the stuff where like all the scenes where we nerd out and talk about how good his body language is. That's the stuff he's doing. And then like when you need him to do like a flip or a kick or like a gotcha, they use one of those stunt doubles.
Then I guess the last
question though is Grogu in Canada.
I don't think so.
Do they have a stunt double for him?
Hard to say. Because I know they had like a bunch of different puppets for different uses.
Yeah, I was being facetious.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Because he's not real.
Yeah. Last thing, he was asked about Pedro Pascal showing his face in the role rather than just wearing the helmet all the time.
Yeah.
And said, quote, "I can't speak to that. I mean, I know he'd love to be more off the helmet, but his job is to be in the helmet. You know what I mean? That's the deal."
Yeah.
End quote.
Quick thought on that. I will say, and I will die on this hill if I have to, I really wish in the second season they would have waited until the season 2 end to take his helmet off, because they did that one episode where they go bomb the thing on the planet.
if you have to do that, like I agree with you. I think in for the scenes where he absolutely has to have his helmet off, at the end of season 1 where IG-11 is spraying the goo on him.
the medicine juice,
and then in the episode where they're infiltrating the base, there are ways to shoot those scenes
from behind.
You don't see his face, or like in the IG-11 scene, like just from far away and like with his head in shadows.
Have you ever seen Home Improvement?
Yes.
How you can never see Wilson's face. They could have done it like that.
Yeah. I think it would have made the end of season 2 even more impactful.
Yeah, because not only do you see his face, but he cries, and it's just like that. Like you weren't even expecting to see his. You could have been not expecting to see his face, and the fact that you do that, and he's being so emotive too, is kind of like that could have been great. In fact, it could have balanced out a little bit of the black hole that Luke Skywalker created in that moment, where because like the second. You barely remember that any of the other guys are even there for like that 2.5 minutes or whatever. It's like Luke Skywalker is the only thing that exists in the universe. So they could have that could have been a good way to balance that out a little bit.
It also would have had a ton more weight if they waited until that moment for you to see his face.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because it would have had 2 whole seasons.
Yeah. See, what we're saying is that Disney, if you're listening, we're available to do like consultant work on big decisions like this, where it won't be free.
Of course.
But probably cheaper than you expect.
Probably a lot cheaper than they expect.
I would do it for free.
Anyway, what else we got?
Please hire us, Disney, please.
Up to you.
Or is it mine? Okay, let's talk about... let's talk about this one stupid fucking thing. Hold on.
Okay. What are we talking about?
So do you remember back in the 90s... There was an outcropping of toys, which, by the way, we're going to get through some of these really quickly because we have other shit to talk about today. There was a flood of toys whose objective was for you to care for it.
Yes.
So they had fucking Furbies, and they had these little digital things like Tamagotchis, and what were the other ones?
I forget.
I had a Star Wars one back in the day. It was like it was a Jedi training, because Yoda was like the little guy, but you weren't like feeding him and taking care of him because that would be weird.
Yeah.
But he was training you to be a Jedi.
I see.
And you had to do things every day and check on him and stuff. And like the Tamagotchi, like you have an egg that that hatches, and you have a new baby, and then you have to like feed it every day and love on it and stuff, and it can die, which is gross. But if you don't take care of it, it can die. Yeah. But as it turns out, we are getting an R2-D2 fucking Tamagotchi.
This seems like a deliberate throwback that's aimed at like people of
us. Yeah. You're exactly like. They're like, okay, how do we get the millennials back to Star Wars? Give them Tamagotchis.
Because like actual 10 and 11-year-olds, I imagine aren't.
They don't give a fuck. They're like,
they don't even know what Tamagotchi is.
They're like, wait, it's not in our phone?
Yeah.
Like, we put this on a keychain?
Yeah, that's weird.
Is there not an app?
Yeah, like that.
Which, by the way, there probably is.
Almost certainly, but if there isn't, that seems like a really untapped market.
Yeah. Like Tamagotchi apps. Yeah.
Just put fucking Tamagotchi app on your smartphone.
I know a software developer. Maybe we should talk to him about this if it doesn't exist. So yeah, we're getting that. There it is. Fucking looks like a R2 with a fucking you do stuff with them.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Speaking of toys, Lego, the Danish? Are they Danish? Scandinavian.
Wait, which one is this?
This is the.
I have two cues here called Lego.
It's
this one.
One that's not a video game.
Yeah. Oh, the one that's not a video game?
Yes.
Shit.
Okay. We are professional streamers.
Got it.
Anyway, Lego, the Scandinavian plastic.
Here, look at these two pictures over and over because they're the only two pictures that exist.
They're putting out a set that lets you build the Imperial Light Cruiser from Mandalorian Season 2.
Well, why did they change it from Slave 1?
I really couldn't tell
fucking woke culture, political correctness has grabbed the world by the balls, and none of us are men anymore. We're all soy boys.
Are you done?
No. Yes.
Okay.
Had I ever really started? It's a question.
So this set is 1,300 pieces, which is a lot.
That's a lot of pieces.
The finished thing is like 2 feet long. And this is retailing for £150, which I have no idea what the current.
It's like $200, $210 maybe.
Is it really down that low? Because I guess Brexit really fucked up the British economy. Because at one point it was $2 to the pound.
No, I think the pound is worth more than the dollar.
It is, yes.
So,
but at one point, like 150 pounds would have been like $300.
It might. I don't think it's that much. I think it's devalued since then. So you might be right.
Quite a bit.
Well, hold on. How much? 150 pounds? You know who's going to know this?
Google.
Google will fucking know.
This model also includes a couple of mini TIE fighters and some models.
It said $208.
Oh, okay.
So I was like,
so you were right. Yeah. Also features little figures of Mando, Cara Dune, Fennec Shand, Moff Gideon, and a Dark Trooper.
Wait, did you say Luke is in there?
No. But if you have a Luke from something else, you can have him cut up the Dark Trooper.
But is there a Luke from something else? With like the cool fucking cape and shit.
Maybe. I assume that like there's gotta be like a Jabba's sand barge set that would have a Luke.
Maybe. But he doesn't have the cloak, right?
He should. Because like in that sequence when he's walking into the palace, he has the hood and stuff. Yeah.
Well, we'll look into this. Is clearly
very important.
Yeah, a very important question that's on everyone's mind. We'll look into it for you.
And on a Lego related tangent, the studio responsible for developing Lego video games, TT Studios, I think.
Yeah.
A bunch of their developers, programmers, artists, whatnot, have recently branched off to create their own studio, 1010 Games.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Let me just make sure that I'm saying that name. Yes, 1010 Games. So this would, and like we are pretty sure that these people would have been working on the Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga game.
That hasn't come out yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, this happens in video game production. Like, as you reach the end of a project, you either reassign people or just lay them off, and then they go on to do other things.
Yeah, it's probably more of a promising sign for the game than not.
Yeah, this indicates that Skywalker Saga is probably pretty close to done.
Yeah,
and at this point, I'd say they're probably aiming for a holiday season release date.
I think the plan now is because it was supposed to come out in like March, right? So I think they're shooting for late fall.
Late fall, yeah.
That was at least the last word, but they haven't really talked about it too much.
Yeah, I'd imagine like November or December.
Yeah,
just get on all the Christmas lists.
If it were me, and I knew it was going to be done, I would delay it until Christmas, so everyone would be buying it and shit. Because I'll play it on stream. Like, I don't really care about Legos that much, but whatever.
It's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars. I'll do it.
Yeah.
So all right. So that game's coming, and then
eventually,
someone said a thing about ObiWan.
Oh, did they?
Look at that sexy fucking look at him.
Hello there.
He's got a bad feeling about this. Oh, negotiations were short.
Also got a not great haircut in that movie, I guess.
Yeah, he's a Padawan.
Yeah.
Oh look.
Oh,
they could have killed him right there. They could have killed him.
Simplified the entire thing.
If you're listening to this and you're not watching the video, first of all, you're probably very confused.
Yes.
Second of all, we're
talking about Jar Jar and how that motherfucker signed away the Republic to Palpatine.
We got kind of engrossed by the clip I have here. But anyway.
Who said what about ObiWan?
So nothing too much. Someone who is a cast member in Indira Varma, kind of went on
Game of Thrones, right?
Yes, she played Elia Sand. I think that was her name, Elia Sand. She was Pedro Pascal's wife.
Oh, nice.
In Game of Thrones, and Pedro Pascal dies a horrific death. And I've seen it once, and I to this day cannot see it. I cannot watch it again.
That's fair.
Because I loved his character. He was so fucking cool, and he grabbed defeat right out of the jaws of victory.
That's sad.
Yeah, and so she was his wife, and she goes on to do things. But she was talking a little bit about because she's on set for ObiWan, and she's gonna presumably play some kind of desert woman, or something. Maybe. Oh my God, she's probably that woman at the end of Rise of Skywalker. Who asks her what her last name is? You know what? I bet the thing is, like, this entire the entire time in ObiWan, she's gonna be like, ObiWan what? He's gonna be like, "Why the fuck do you need to know what my last name is?" And he just like doesn't tell her, and then he disappears. And like and then the next human she sees, 60 years later or whatever, is Ray, and she's gonna be like, "What's your last name, Ray?"
I thought I remembered rumors about her playing some sort of Imperial officer or something.
She would be probably, because that's actually, I can't remember, was she in those set photos that we saw?
Maybe?
Because she would make a really good Imperial. She's got like the evil British thing happening. Not that you're all evil. I'm just saying we did have to fight a fucking revolution against you. So this is what she said. This is in regards to ObiWan. It's such a beast, like an octopus that needs wrangling. She said that. I swear to God, I'm not making that up. But I'm having a brilliant time. Obviously, I can't say anything about any of it, but director Deborah Chow and Ewan, as in Ewan McGregor on the acting side, have somehow made it feel like an independent movie. Everyone has input. There are no fraying tempers. Now, so first of all, we're not going to get any details that are going to titillate people, right? Because Star Wars is like a locked box.
Disney is extremely serious about this.
The stuff that we know about it, that people aren't making up and lying about it, is the stuff they want us to know about it, right? So, like, obviously no details about the show. However, I think it's kind of an interesting thing that I think because of the smaller scale of all, we were talking earlier about how there's probably only a couple sets for this show. I'm sure they film on location in a couple spots.
We know that they have because there were set photos rather than just being in their giant TV screen set.
Yeah. But I bet a lot of their shit is just inside the giant TV.
I would imagine the more, like, if they go to more fantastic locations,
it's
for sure.
It's COVID proof if you think about it. Yeah. You're gonna have like only two people in that room,
plus like camera operators. But
but it would be very easy to film some. I think that's one of the reasons that Mandalorian wasn't. They were a lot of season 2 is already finished, but I have a feeling that COVID probably would have delayed it more if a lot of their shit wasn't filmed there.
Yeah.
So, the Star Wars needs some good press about their filming process, because still what we know about Star Wars is they like to fire directors, and there's sometimes a lot of drama about stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice that this isn't the whole house is on fire, no one knows what they're doing, and the fact that they feel like they have some ownership over the product is kind of cool too, because that's going to affect their acting performance, and
I think so. I'm trying to get my thoughts in order because I had an idea and I'm trying to reassemble it. It's helpful. Well, it's important, I think, that Star Wars have a lot of input from different directions, because that's going to, like, it's easier for lots of people to have one creative idea each than one person to have a ton of creative ideas.
Yeah.
So having that sort of mixture of lots of people having input will, I think, lead to a better end product.
As long as you've got a capable person sitting at the gate, being like, okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. Nope, that's shit.
As long as
we're not bringing Jar Jar back. Turn the fuck around. Get back in your car. Go the fuck home.
He died in that book.
Goodbye. He didn't die in the book, but he's got to realize that existence in the book.
Like, as long as you have a writer who actually planned everything out in advance, and you're not, making 3 movies with absolutely no plan for anything past the first
sequel trilogy.
Yeah. Well, but on a smaller scale, having lots of ideas in the mix is good, I think.
That is clearly what they are trying to go for in the sequel trilogy. Having 3 different directors, the original plan, having 3 different directors, 3 different writers, having it be a diverse way to tell a story is what they are going for. The thing is that I bet